everyone and welcome to part 2 of the playthrough of Homecoming, the 8th map of the Forged in Fire campaign. And we start with from day 7, just a short recap. We captured a couple of towns during the first week and fought against two enemy heroes, such as Nemus and Geon. And now, basically, my primary hero force is waiting for Tavin to reach the dark blue tent. Also, there is a hero to deal with, another orange hero that is currently in the underground, and Wynona is heading to deal with that hero right now, but other than that, most of my activities are limited heavily by the lack of a dark blue keymaster tent that Tavin needs to reach as soon as possible, and he will reach, if I recall correctly, on day 3 of week 2. And I'll explain later what is going to be my next plan after getting this keymaster tent. Looking back, I probably shouldn't have flagged any infernal dwellings, if I'm completely honest. They aren't really helpful to me in any way, but later you'll have a town with Portal of Summoning, so you could theoretically get bonus quarters from that relatively consistently. So no need to pick up any dwellings that you actually don't need. Okay, I'm not rushing to the underground at this point because second orange hero did not exit did not go through the quest guard just yet. There is a quest guard, I don't remember what it asks for. There is a quest guard that immediately blocks this hero. It asks for a harpy, and only this hero has them, but this hero already opened it. And the second one I kind of actually don't quite remember. It might be nothing, but the problem is not really that this hero did not open the quest guard. He's just a bit too far for me to reach. So I don't want to scare it away, and I want to use Jovilla to stash my army. And she doesn't have a lot of movement left. I think she doesn't. And basically that's it. So also Wynona doesn't really need to go further than to fight this hero. Seems like I was gonna be doing the same thing that I did with dragons for a +6 attack sword. The Pandora box gives some stats, and I decided to pick all stats with Wynona. She's gonna be my main hero. Well, she was going to be anyway. It was pretty apparent. But at some point, actually, during this map, like the first days, I'd say, I was contemplating to choose other heroes as well. Not for long, but I actually even shortly considered using Tavin as my main hero, believe it or not. Kind of pretty stupid, probably, but I was a bit confused about the fact that he was even offered as an option. And he has kind of decent stats, has pretty high attack. Not far behind Wynona, and because he has offense specialty, his actual melee damage is pretty good, actually even better than for Wynona, but he has some pretty crippling downsides, unfortunately. He basically doesn't have any good spells, for example. Many good spells, at least. Okay, Henrietta is gonna go further. She will have a few things to do next day. Okay, there is our good friend Orange Hero. Week 2, my goal is to build Coatls and Castle, ideally, to kind of actually start building up a good Coatl stack. Although, to be fair, I ended up having this goal, shaping up this goal a little bit later than I reached this point. Ended up replaying actually some part of this map, I mean of this early game. Because I thought I actually need many crystals to progress. Well, you'll see why I may have thought about it. I hope I won't forget to touch on this economic aspect, at least when I explain my further plans shortly, but let's fight Orange Hero first. Kind of get to the point when I actually thought about this decision. Okay, Tavin is gonna be rushing towards the tent at this point. Okay, this orange fella finally. much tougher than the previous orange, the Gion. She has dragons at least. Gion didn't have dragons. He had some manticores and scarpicores though, but still, as you can see, stat-wise, it's not really. Doesn't look like a challenging fight. She also has some magic, I think, so she's gonna be causing some losses at the very least. But I mean, she's not immune to hypnotize, and even though, as you can see, I came with like half of my mana, it's not gonna be too much of a problem. Okay, taking care of the hypnotize right away. Counter-Strike was actually a pretty stupid spellcast for her, because I only have 3 melee stacks, one of which automatons, and they're dead already, and they're attack without retaliation, right? Another one is I always forget, Juggernauts, Dreadnoughts, whatever. Basically potato. They use a beam that is also no retaliation, so basically there is a very high chance that her units would retaliate only once anyway to Coatls. Kind of a pretty funny spellcast in that sense. Okay, pretty simple. Now Henrietta will do a couple of fights here. She will take the mask that is guarded by Hydras, and then there is also a thunder helm guarded by archangels that she will take. Okay, I will be preparing Balindar for the time when the blue Keymaster tent is reached. He's gonna have some work to do, and also he can flag this coatl dwelling as well on his way. I should have enough resources by that time, or maybe even already have. I don't quite remember what resources I needed there, but I think I should be at least pretty close. saving up a little bit of mana, using Coatl to kite Hydras away. This way I don't have to recast Force Field every turn, every 2 turns. Okay, let's talk our future plans. Past few days I spent basically doing nothing in terms of progress. I fought a couple of orange heroes, but those are invaders, they don't provide any progress meaningful in any way. And basically my progress, you could say, stopped at beating Nemus or maybe taking Conflux down. And at this point, Tavin needs to reach, in a couple of days, Dark Blue Tent, and then I can progress further. And it's worth knowing in advance what I want to do. And so, what are my options at this point? There are 2 towns to the north from starting town. Tavin will go by one of them. Both towns are kind of decently guarded, but nothing to not be able to take with any hero, but like with a decent army at least. And these towns are basically a sideshow, so you can't really reach anything from their locations. They just are there to be taken and you can do nothing after that. And with their location you can actually get both towns the same day as Tavin gets the tent. If you do that, then what? So there are a couple of options. When we get both tents, we actually get to see some of our enemies. For example, an immediately available enemy becomes Shakti. He can be accessed right after getting both tents. He's accessed through a portal close to the first conflux town we took. But he looks pretty scary. As you can see, he has a huge army of troglodytes. He has a very high stats as well, and to make things worse, he has a Recanter's Cloak. That means you can't use Force Field, you can't use Resurrection, you can't use Clone, you can't use Frenzy. Basically, you can't do many things against him to help you grind him down. And you might have thought about using Quicksand, for example, against him. That would be quite nice, although he has also Haste and Dispel. So he will have a pretty fast troglodytes. He has +1 speed necklace, I think, as well. So he's a specialist, and his troglodytes are pretty fast as is. With Haste, they will be even faster, and Dispel he can use to remove Quicksand, and AI does do that, although not consistently. Okay, so looking at this, it's kind of hard to avoid losses against this enemy if you have a small army like what I currently have. And I think what I was thinking at that time, I needed to help me with kiting. So there are 2 options I considered. One option was draining his mana, and as you can see, he has a lot of mana. He has over 600. And another option is using a Cape of Silence. Cape of Silence will disable basically all spells in the battlefield, but also it will make sure that he cannot haste, and in this situation you can actually kite him reliably. But right now I don't seem to have all of this, both of these options. So I don't have a Cape of Silence, and draining his mana I did try, kind of half-heartedly, and he does cast Dispel to remove Quicksands, for example, so that's a bit annoying, and obviously that's a lot of mana to drain. So that was my initial train of thought. And if you can beat him, he opens a black tent, which is really good. It opens many more choices, but at first seems a little bit too hard to do this early. Also a big thing, he gives extra 10 Coatls, so that's a very nice boost. There are a couple more options, potential enemies to aim for at this stage. And second is Dace. Dace is pretty strong as well. He's more conventional enemy. As you can see, he has a regular dungeon army, he has regular-ish stats. A couple of things worth noting about him. So he's not available until week 3, day 5, which is over a week later. On 135 he is released and he will go out and about. Will probably be attacking you. But if you attack him on 135, you can fight him in town, like in this snippet. So I thought that it's best if I attack him in a town, not let him out. There is also another orange hero released around the same time, and I thought that I better reduce number of invaders that I would have to deal at the same time. So things notable about him: he has Berserk, he has Frenzy, Earthquake, and Sacrifice. That's are all his spells. Sacrifice can be quite annoying, I'm not gonna lie. Berserk obviously is a huge problem, right? If we attack with all our army, he's gonna be very, very annoying with Berserk. And, well, Frenzy, I don't know what you think about it, but I think it's really... It's a spell that AI often misuses and is very easy to abuse against AI, and that's gonna be basically the way Dace will fall finally. But Berserk is kind of a huge problem, as you can imagine. Also, he is immune to Hypnotize, because it is Pendant of Free Will. And he has a Cape of Silence. It means that there is no Bless, there is no Slow, Haste, Shield. Basically, you can't really help yourself very much against him. Okay, so, and I thought about it for a moment. There is a quest for 35 golden dragons that you can get relatively early, that you could bring here. They are immune to Berserk, that's why I was considering them. But they're targeted by towers and can't be resurrected, plus they only have speed parity with Dace dragons on dungeon terrain. So I need +1 at least, and have some other unit to take tower fire. That was my train of thought here. And obviously, as we all remember, Dace doesn't have damage spells, if you paid attention, and it means that if I cast Forgetfulness, only have Kevasar, who will keep Dace inside walls. That's my trump card, basically. And I thought that, well, if I am vulnerable to Berserk against him, that's very hard to deal with him. Especially without losses, considering that he is immune to Hypnotize. And another issue, although this one I was able to relatively fast solve, is that path to Dace is blocked by 2 anti-magic garrisons, both guarded by over 200 behemoths, including upgraded ones. So these are pretty tough, actually, but at least one of them is doable without losses. And what's great about this Dace spell is that he rewards Cape of Silence. It makes Shakti trivial, right, as I mentioned. But we would have to wait for over a week to do that. That was my problem with him. Another enemy that is also kind of available early, even earlier than Dace, but I think is meant to be fought later then. And that's Gunnar. He has a huge army, like much bigger army than Dace. He has much better stats, and I mean, as I said, he seems like intended to be dealt after you deal with Dace. He's much more versatile in terms of spells. He has Slow, Shield, Resurrection, Sacrifice. He's also immune to Forgetfulness, and he has a couple of really big shooter stacks, as you can see. Also, path to Gunnar is blocked by 2 quest guards. In total, you would have to pay 80 crystals to pass, which is just barely what I can pay at this point. But that's basically the easiest part. Much harder part is actually reaching him, because path to him is blocked by 2 anti-magic garrisons, similarly to Dace, but these garrisons are guarded by 200 dragons, including 40 black, and the terrain is terrible. There is no way to shelter anywhere. Just looking at these garrisons, I figured that there is no way I can deal with him early. Basically, garrisons, you have to be able to brute force them, like, really fast. Okay, and the reward for Gunnar is Recounter's Cloak. Who cares? Really, it's not really helpful. But there was one big thought that I for some time chased, that if you kill both Dace and Gunnar, then you unlock Tyrese in prison, who have a Sphere of Permanence, which, if you have a Sphere of Permanence against Shakti, he won't be dispelling Quicksand at this point. It makes much better. Okay, so there is also another hero I considered shortly, in context of Dace mostly. Because Dace, as I figured, is kind of pretty hard to deal because of the Berserk. There is another hero that is available after Shakti. This hero name is Insaneos, or as I call him, Insaneos, aka Suicide Linux, or something. Basically a stupid joke, okay. So he is really tough, really tough. As you can see, high stats compared to Gunnar, even. Really tough army, and he has a really annoying spellbook. He has Berserk, he has Armageddon, Chain Lightning, and as you can see, he's like almost his entire army is immune to fire, so he'll cast Armageddon mercilessly. He has a relatively little mana, so in theory, you can drain his mana, you can bring like 6-0 heroes with some army. Although I'm not sure like even it works, but I really did not consider it, to be honest. And fighting him head on is kind of pretty hard. But like one redeeming quality of this fella is that he has a Berserk immunity necklace. That's why I was even considering him. And with this necklace, obviously even Wynona could very comfortably deal with Dace after him. But really, like, I considered it before I even tried this fella, and he's much harder to deal with than Dace. So after some testing, I figured that it's clear that I cannot reach Gunnar, and I can't deal with Insaneos. And I managed to deal with Dace without Berserk immunity, but I needed to get more Coatls for that, and Shakti, as I said, notably guards 10 of them. So I came back to trying to deal with Shakti, and I managed to do it. So let's watch how it shaped out after all. You could see here a pretty nice setup in the beginning, blocking all space around my big stacks with halfling ones. And thanks to the obstacle, there was no way for archangels to actually do anything there. And now I sacrificed Coatos just to leave place for a clone inside the force field, and my first stack is under haste, so I'm fine there. And now the pretty good helmet. I'd say it's quite apparently the best in slot helmet to restore mana. Well, that's apparent. I don't think there is any argument for that. Or, I mean, against it. So basically I actually ended up being able to drain Shakti's mana, and since I will be draining his mana, I need two heroes, one to fight and one to drain, and I think Wynona is gonna be the one draining. And I need an extra hero, at least one. I think I will hire another one next day as well. And this hero is to make sure that I can pass army or artifacts to... Yeah, this one is exactly to pass army to Henrietta, and another one will pass army, or will pass artifacts from Wynona. Wynona has Thunder Helm and Spirit of Oppression. You definitely want to have Spirit of Oppression for the fight against Shakti. I mean, you want to have it both when you drain mana and when you fight, so... And you don't want to sacrifice the hero that you drain mana with, right? It would be kinda unfortunate if I just sacrificed Wynona there to do that, so I will have to retreat with Wynona and then pass items, so that's where my other heroes come by, and Bertram will stash halflings shortly, but you'll see in just a few moments. Here you can actually just throw your melee units forward and sacrifice them. It would be actually more reasonable than just doing what I do, because I think I will lose like one elf. And I think quite apparently it's better if you lose basically everything, every melee unit, and not a single elf, so that's my assessment there. Okay, so Bertram will stash halflings now. Wynona had to go through a couple of fights there, so she would not be able to do all of that with just a single quarter. And now she will be draining this fella's mana. I did cut the fight, but I'll show you the gist. Obviously it's based on the quicksand, and as I said, the AI can cast Dispel, so that's annoying, but it seems like AI actually doesn't handle quicksands very well in terms of how fast it can reach specific spot on a battlefield, and at times it actually casts hastes as if it like doesn't see the quicksands at all, or like it's hard to explain, but like you'll see some haste casts when it's not really obvious why it would even do that. So, for example, if it reaches quicksand like next, without casting haste, right? And it seems like haste has a higher priority than Dispel. Well, for now, I think the spellcast is, the haste is kind of reasonable because it doesn't see all quicksands yet. But I think it'll change. And the idea is basically to always cast slow when he has both troglodytes under haste. think he revealed most quicksands at this point. And as you can see, he hasted the troglodyte, the unupgraded one, just a moment ago, and he knows that the quicksand is 2 tiles away, so definitely doesn't have to cast haste there, but he does, for whatever reason, and that's basically the way I dealt with him. And let's speed up, and he's out of mana by now. And just surrender. 3 spell points left. No haste, no dispel. Now he's easy to deal with. Now I need to pass the artifacts from Wynona. Actually, it's important to have an ammo card for this fight. You wouldn't have enough shots to deal with the old troglodytes without it, and it would be quite a disappointing culmination. I'll cut this fight as well. Actually, I left place for a clone there, haven't I? He just, as a reminder, he has a Recanter's Cloak, so I just did it. Well, just because I forgot about it. Well, basically that's the idea. You can do it even without slowing them down, actually. Probably, I'm not sure, but should be. They have high speed, but they probably would stick to coatls. I just figured that with slow it's like, okay, I'll spend like, I don't know, 20 more mana, but it's not really something I should be really conservative about. And well, that's the end of this somewhat tedious fight. But it opens quite a few great things. So he had actually 2 components of the Elixir of Life. That's also a pretty nice thing. There is a 3rd component next to the Inferno Town, where I fought Nemus. So I will actually get the Elixir of Life relatively soon. Don't think I will go for it right away though. First I need to pass army to Balindar. He's gonna take one of the towns to the north. And now with after fighting Shakti, basically I need to prepare for the confrontation with Dace, and I need to build and upgrade coatls as fast as I can, because I got 10 coatls from him, right? But I need to upgrade them, otherwise they are not really helpful. Alright, it's completely different when I bring a stack of 25 coatls, upgraded coatls, right, or unupgraded even, but like one stack, right, and when I have like two stacks of 12, it's absolutely a totally different story. So that's kind of my top priority to do before I head to Dace. And now I have Black Tent, I actually can get access to a town portal. There is a shrine on water where Tavin sailed through, like not far from the Green Keymaster tent, and I do plan to send all my secondary heroes who don't have town portal there. Well, it's kind of pretty nice. Pretty helpful, actually, to the overall effort. Now, this town is guarded by a bunch of dragons, so my army setup is perfect. And he has ballistics, actually, a very nice thing. And thanks to ballistics, he'll have first turn over the dragons. And I can use this first turn to cast haste, and this way coatls actually take first turn over gold dragons. And after closing halflings for one turn, I sacrifice one coatl. And now I'm safe here. Just deal with all these dragons. Now you can build actually a treasury in this town, and I built it and it brought me some money even. Would you believe that? But yeah, obviously you shouldn't really hope that it will blow your bank out. You just don't have that much time. But yeah, obviously building it does make sense, perfect sense. Basically, it's very easy to get enough return, like more than enough return from it. This fella is kinda teasing me. I will break those black dragons, I think, if I am not confusing it, just to let him come closer. Yeah, there are actually several, I mean, all Legion, Statue of Legion pieces that you can assemble pretty fast. Don't remember when I did it. It's either week 2 or week 3, so it's you can do it really fast. Like as I said it, like week 2 sounds crazy, you might think, but I wouldn't be shocked, really. I would be actually shocked if it's week 3. Week 3 doesn't sound all that fast to me, but I do feel like it was pretty fast. Actually, worth noting that this starting town has Magic Carol in its guild, and you don't want to enter it with Kevasar. I did have to replay it like, I don't know, 2 or 3 times at some point when I just by accident town portal Kevasar to that town, then entered the screen, I don't know, to trade units or something. Kinda a little bit of a careless handling, and he ends up with a Major Carol in his book, and basically it ruins the hero for me. And I still need it. I need him for Dace, for example. As I said, Dace doesn't have magic, and Kevasar is perfect for that, so kinda a little bit of an annoying micromanagement, I have to admit it, but well, you obviously don't have to do that. You can deal with like Nemus and Dace, most definitely using other heroes as well. So I guess I will go fight Archdevils for the Blood Vial. I think I hired these fellas for Kevasar. Okay, that's obviously I'm doing it to retreat against these dragonflies. And actually, as you can see, I messed up here. I did visit a magic well already this day. I just forgot that it, like this day, lasted for what seems like a million years. I visited it before fighting or draining mana from Shakti, and surprise, surprise, it's still the same turn. So Wynona ended up not restoring her mana, very unfortunately. So Kevasar is gonna basically retreat from dragonflies, and I want to rehire him in my next and second conflux that I will take shortly. That's basically the shortest distance from my... well, maybe not shortest. Maybe actually Rampart would be a little bit closer. I don't know, like these two are pretty close. Rampart could be closer actually. But that's why I actually did it, so I thought that it's closest, and it's relatively close, so not a huge mistake. And yeah, like basically all my secondaries are going for the town portal at this point. And I'm thinking what I will be doing with Henrietta. There are not many options. So I think I should be killing the dragons. That's one. So this red hero will come back. Then I want to deal with devils for the last elixir of life component. And I want to be visiting stat boosts with my primarily Wynona, like Henrietta. I don't really plan to invest a lot of time in her development. Maybe I will be boosting her stats at this point, but not 100%. Not gonna be like, I don't know, devoting a lot of time to that. And yeah, Balindar needs to pick up the second conflux, and once he does, everyone just uses a tavern to reach this conflux, and everyone get the town portal ASAP. Now I need to be ready pretty soon. Like as I said, Dace is free on week 3, day 5, and there is some ground to cover to get to him. I actually should have hit elementals, or maybe I shouldn't. Okay, I decided to tank with automatons there. That's perfectly reasonable. Yeah, the Admiral's hat is quite useful for to go after the town portal. Also, all heroes that will go there, they actually don't have a summon boat spell, and they'll need it. And the only way they can get it is by this hat. So Tavin is kind of right, he's far ahead of everyone else, so he'll take some time picking up things. Just checking some boosts I can pick up with Henrietta. There are not many, so it's kinda a little bit of a difficulty to pick something that is not just a huge waste of time, or at least does not seem like a huge waste of time. Okay, I actually don't think I will have a full statue on week 2. Now I kinda... I think I recalled some details that point at week 3, most likely. So I got a little bit too excited about how fast it was. This crazy fire protection. Gonna wipe the floor with my... gonna wipe the smile off my face, basically. I don't know. Bloodlust was also kinda very scary. Well, to be fair, it could have cast haste. That would be kind of annoying. But I don't know, like I would have to cast Resurrection. That would be the worst case. Doesn't sound all that bad, to be fair. Okay, it turned out that curse actually shifts balance in favor of my shooters, so as you can see, kind of a strength of shooters, and air shield actually also affects strength of shooters, but air elementals and ice elementals are very heavily influenced by spells like curse and bless, so ballistics is quite nice. I'm not gonna be breaking walls and just a single tower left. I could maybe try to get one last tower, like with some restarts possibly. Like just needed that catapult to not break any walls with the second shot. Actually, I think I should have repaired automatons. Yeah, I totally missed it. Had two opportunities. Wow, okay, that's weird. They actually are shooting at bounty hunters. Bounty hunters do not have air shield, maybe that's why. Yeah, I don't have clone, that's why. Okay, that makes sense then. I don't want to be repairing automatons if I can't repair them again. Yeah. Yeah, makes sense. I forgot that Balindar does not have clone. And makes it a little bit awkward. Sure, didn't have to kill elementals. I could have finished them off with coatls. Just wasted possibly even 2 shots on the wrong target. But it's kind of a small detail, really. At some point, the tower will switch to halflings. I should repair and resurrect. I'm waiting, but yeah, maybe it's sensible to actually not rush, just in case. Now I need to build a tavern there, first and foremost. I got myself a few phoenixes. Upgrading phoenixes is actually also pretty important. I mean, at home, I will need kind of a few more. Actually was a risky retreat. I think even dragonflies actually had like 1 or 2 morals there. Maybe should have watched it. Yeah, I think next Henrietta will go fight dragons. So that's kind of in part because I want to distract that hero from a wood warehouse. Wood is actually in very short supply here. I don't think I have a single sawmill at this point. And basically I picked up almost all wood resources by this time. There may be a couple of piles. And yeah, unfortunately I did not distract him in time, so... Well, at least week 3 maybe. Little did I know there will be actually an invader very soon that will go through the same path and kinda... Don't remember it exactly, but I feel like this invader will most likely pick up the warehouse as well. Yeah, I remember wood was kind of very tight here, and because I also want to build many things like fireboards, for example, here, and upgrade coatls and lots of very expensive buildings to build and very little wood to work with. I think I will end up trading at some point. I think I want to send Wynona north, where you can see the magic elementals. There is a Pandora box and a couple of things like a gold mine. Maybe that's it actually. But Pandora box, I think, gives some stats, so that's why I sent her there. Or maybe not, actually, I don't remember. It's guarded by titans, maybe that's why I sent her. Although Henrietta most definitely would be able to deal with titans as well, and would be faster actually. Because it it's on the rough terrain there, on the sand, and Wynona doesn't have pathfinding. Yeah, likely there are some stats for her. Otherwise, it just doesn't make sense sending her, not Henrietta. And I shouldn't have built centaurs. I built centaurs actually thinking that I might need Pegasi at some point for the magic damper ability. But I don't think I ever used them on this map, to be fair. And I think I built centaurs before actually realizing that wood is so short. If I knew that wood is actually very hard to come by here, I probably would not build them. Or maybe I do actually. Yeah, now that I think about it, I do remember I actually needed to build them for some fight ahead, kind of pretty soon. Actually, I forgot about some aspects. My bad. I need to free Kevasar here as soon as possible, so that's why I want him to have at least this necklace, because I'll have to keep the Admiral's hat here. Okay, actually, well, I left hat for him, I think, just for this turn, so that he will have more movement next day, but Tavin has to wait for Yovilla. I think Yovilla is the last one. So Tavin doesn't go anywhere, and it doesn't really matter if he wastes some movement. I forgot to leave the Legion torso at home. A little did I know, I just forgot that I don't have automatons built. I actually may have even replayed some small part just to make it nicely and weak with a torso at town, but yeah, that's kind of pretty stupid when you think about the fact that I don't have automatons in that town. Yeah, and I forgot actually to mention, yeah, I thought that I will mention the economic aspect of decision, and then I forgot when I was rambling about all those evil enemies that are ahead. Initially, actually, it was building up for resource silos first, like build resource silos for crystals, like in Rampart and in Factory Town. Because I saw those quest guards in the underground where I would need like 80 crystals just to get to Gunnar. And I thought, wow, that's crazy. And also the crystals you need obviously to build coatls, to upgrade coatls, to open certain quest guards. Like for example, I had to pay I think 25 crystals to get a second coatl dwelling. So there is a high demand for crystals, so that's why I thought about it. But then actually I figured later that those quest guards for crystals in front of Gunnar are mostly for Gunnar himself, or at least I think that's the case now, but maybe I am wrong now and I was right before that. Anyway, nasty battlefield, right? My melees are stuck on quicksands. I'm leaving small stacks just in case I will want to leave something to later resurrect, so 5, 3, 1 step. I'll maybe start killing them slowly, but should leave at least one. Okay, ballista actually making me regret that I took it. I don't know, will I be breaking it, or maybe I just resurrect everything quickly? Like 3 stacks. The ones are left, obviously you do not kill them really fast with the ballista, so it should be safe. Yeah, and I'm pulling back. And then there is another Titan fight. It will be a little bit smaller. Forgot to use an elixir there. Actually, would be a decent change. Okay, I think we'll wrap it up this turn. As always, thank you for watching. Please let me know what you think in the comments below, and I'll see you in the next one. We'll be dealing with Dace, we'll be dealing with some other stronger enemies than the previous ones, so I hope you enjoyed. Take care. Bye.